Good evening and welcome in to the Manchester Basketball Centre here in Whalley Range. The Division 1 season's underway and Manchester Mystics are getting ready to host their first game of the season as they take on the Bristol Academy Flyers. My name's Kaz Bullock and we're due to tip off in around 3 minutes time. So stay tuned to the Manchester Magic and Mystics Basketball YouTube channel to make sure you catch all the action from today's game. So Manchester, coming off a 70-47 win over the Worcester Wolves last weekend, they were led by none other than Irina Boado, 16 points, 8 rebounds, an assist and 2 steals. Just continues to develop and continues to be one of the most exciting young players in the country. Alongside her, Rahana Khalil, 12 points, 9 rebounds, 4 assists and 6 steals. Rahana, a really valuable veteran on this squad and a team that have retained the majority of the core from last year, their first season in Division 1 last year. No Hannah Alty on the squad this season, so a little bit lacking in height perhaps for this Mystics team, but we've seen how they can play. They're a very fast team, can shoot from the outside, so they can more than make up for that inside presence. Now Bristol, their first game last weekend, they were due to play Anglia Ruskin University, but took the points after ARU forfeited that one. So this will be Bristol's first game of the season. They had a couple of pre-season games over in Ireland, which is a really good opportunity for them to gel together as a team, get to know each other, some new players on the squad, some new faces, but also, again, Coach Darren Oakey doing a good job of retaining, again, a core of players from last season's squad. Hannah Wallace, the second leading scorer on the team last year with 13.1 points per game, and Kim King, 10.3 points, 4 rebounds and 3.1 assists. And then adding into that, this is an exciting prospect, Sam Roscoe, back in the UK. She was playing for the Caledonia Gladiators last season, spent a lot of time in Europe and represented GB. So she is playing in Division 1 for Bristol this season. And if you've not seen Sam Roscoe play before, you're in for a treat. She's a knockdown shooter. She can do a bit of everything out there on the court. So really exciting to see her in the league this season. And alongside them, the inside presence of captain Mara Marchizotti at 6'4". It's going to be a Twin Towers lineup with Sam Roscoe and Mara Marchizotti out there for Bristol. It's going to be a difficult matchup for Manchester, but as I mentioned, they can play fast, play in transition, and we'll see how these two teams counteract each other. So as teams get ready to come out on court, it will be Manchester playing in blue and Bristol in red. Starting for the Manchester Mystics, Ellie Costa, Michelle Ortega, Irina Boado, Rahana Khalil and Remi Idowu. And for Bristol, Estella Maloney-Danvers, Hannah Wallace, Kim King, Mara Marchizotti and Marley Ball. Marley Ball, another new addition for the Flyers, playing out in Portugal last season. And it's going to be a great game that we've got on our hands. It's going to start in just a few seconds' time. So teams coming out on court. So Manchester, a team that perhaps outperformed expectations last season, finishing 9th, just behind Bristol at 8 wins and 14 losses. They were a team that really challenged teams at the top of the league, the Ipswiches, the Brents, the Thames Valleys, and a really formidable young squad. And Bristol finishing in 8th spot, making it into the playoffs last season. A lot to build on for both of these teams, so it's going to be really intriguing to see how they got on throughout the course of the season. Also, both teams were playing in the Women's National Cup in the group stages as they try and make it through all the way to the National Basketball Performance Centre in January. But here on court, it's Marchizotti and Idowu for the tip, and ball is into the hands of Ortega for the Mystics to start things off. As Costa stops on the baseline, kicks it out to Khalil. Khalil working away through traffic. Ortega, a Boado, corner 3. That's short. Looks like Bristol got a hand on that one. And And the ball will go the way of the Flyers. Manchester picking up full court here. King over to Marchizotti. Hands it back to King. King, a very experienced player, spent a lot of time with the Cardiff Met Archers in the WBBL. Bringing their talents back to Bristol last season. As Marchizotti hands over, but will have a foul called on the floor. And that's going to be the first team foul on the Mystics. So sideline ball for the Flyers. And Maloney Danvers will inbound. King. And another quick foul on the Mystics on the floor. That will be on Ellie Costa, her first. Bristol set up again. Marchizotti calling for it. You can see the height advantage of Marchizotti. Maloney Danvers round the top. 7 seconds on the shot clock. Marchizotti inside. Tips it down. King. 2 seconds to shoot. Needs to put something up. And does. And I don't know if you can see so much on the live stream. So the shot clock at the moment is not working above the basket. It is on the baseline on the floor. And sometimes that can throw you off as a player because it's not in the place that you're expecting to see it. It's in a different position in the eye line. So Manchester possession. Both teams still yet to score here in the first quarter. Khalil. Ortega for three. Doesn't get that to drop. Ball's into the hands of Abodo. Abodo with space underneath the basket. Pops out. Gets her own rebound. Can't get it again. No call, and ball is out of bounds. Oh, lucky for Abodo for that shot not to drop, just working hard underneath the basket. And Mystics will reset on the end line. Idowu to Khalil. Abodo kicks it out. Ortega out to Khalil. Thought about the shot, floater. Too short. King with a chance here, driving to the basket, swings it out. Good hands from Costa, who steals it. Khalil throws herself on the floor. As Ortega, the pass inside, he's knocked out. A bit of a frantic couple of possessions here for both teams. This ball will go back with the Mystics on the end line. Abodo blocked from behind by Marchizotti. And Wallace racing up ahead. All the way, can't get that one to go. There's a lid on the basket for both teams at the moment. As Ortega races down the court after Khalil forces that steal. Ortega over to Idowu, who's double, turns, fires, doesn't get that one to drop. Wallace from the foul line into Marchizotti, backing down Idowu, off the glass and in. And we've got our first points of the game for Bristol. Costa out to Abodo. Corner three doesn't drop. Ball drives to the basket. Gets the basket. I think it seemed like we heard a whistle on the floor, but it was from elsewhere on the court. Abodo to Costa. Khalil with a handoff over to Ortega, doesn't get that to go, but that will send Michelle Ortega to the foul line. And Ortega, one of the new signings for Manchester this season. having previously played in the WNBL with the Nottingham Wildcats. And is a fantastic strength and conditioning coach. She was strength and conditioning coach for the over 35 England team at the Tri-Nations tournament this summer. Doing some great work. Check out her Instagram page as she hits the first free throw and gets the Mystics on the board. Second one doesn't go, and Sam Roscoe into the game for the Flyers for the first time, picks up the rebound. Jepson spinning against Ortega. Marchizotti working her way inside, and a travel called. Good D there from Rahana Khalil, forcing the turnover for Bristol. So a 3-point Bristol lead. We've got 6:12 to play here in the first quarter. Ortega out to Odemwingie. Khalil, some good ball movement here from Manchester. Swinging the ball outside as Khalil puts up a three. That's short. And we'll go back into the hands of Bristol, and you can see it's Manchester moving the ball around the outside because of that presence inside of Marchizotti and Sam Roscoe. As Odemwingie read that pass, doesn't come away with the steal. But Marchizotti kicks it over to the corner. Not that time as Odemwingie races down the court. Has to wait for a team to catch up. Ortega diving baseline and out of bounds. So that'll be back with the Bristol Flyers. Bristol ball, Roscoe. Going against Khalil. Oh, what a pass there. But also what a read from Ortega. Khalil into Costa. Sorry for the delay, we're just having a, just sorting out our camera. Ellie Costa, Kizzy Spence, and Kizzy Spence picked up from the WBBL Manchester Giants last season. She's out there for the Manchester Mystics today. She's got experience playing for the Oakland's Wolves. And she's a really fast, really explosive player when she gets out on court. And can do damage inside as she drives to the basket. So we've got a timeout called. Coach Rob Fairley for Manchester wants to talk things over. And at the midway point of the first quarter, we have a very low scoring for both teams game. 4-1 for the Bristol Academy Flyers. And it's been Marley Ball with 2 points. And Mara Marchizotti with the other 2. And Michelle Ortega with the 1 for Manchester Mystics. So this is the Flyers' first game of the season. They had some pre-season games over in Ireland, playing against the Belfast Phoenix in Killester. And more and more teams getting to play pre-season, getting to get those chances where they get to get some real game practice as you know, into squad scrimmages, practicing against other teams in your academy. It doesn't always replicate that real game situation, so being able to get out to Ireland and play some pre-season games there. It's been really beneficial for the Bristol Flyers. As we see Layla Jepson hitting the free throw for Bristol. Jepson, one of the returning players for the Flyers in her 7th season. As ball is tapped into the hands of Marley Ball, over to Roscoe. Sam Roscoe nets it. That's what she does. That is absolutely classic Sam Roscoe if you've watched a game over the years. Spence round to Karina Costa. Odin Wingy out to Khalil. Khalil mid-range. That's short. Roscoe hands it off to King. I'm enjoying this point Roscoe we've got going on, point forward, as Jepson drains it from deep. And the Flyers take an 11-1 lead over the Mystics in the first quarter, just over 4 minutes to play. Spence answers for Manchester. That's a big bucket for the Mystics, and a great first shot for Kizzy Spence. As King down the other end steps through, and blocking foul is called. You can see there Spence looking to try and take the charge, just shuffled her feet. So blocking foul is called, and that will send King to the line for Bristol for 2. So checking back in, we have Irene Obodo back in for Manchester, and Hannah Wallace in for the Flyers as Marley Ball takes a seat. Kim King in her 2nd season with Bristol. Free throws good. 5 seasons with the Cardiff Met Archers. And she played for the Bristol Storm at the under-16, under-18 level, so back where she started things off. She hits both free throws. Manchester with some work to do here. Spence over to Obodo. Back to Spence. Furtado out to Costa. And foul on the shot. And that will put Karina Costa at the foul line. Playing in her 2nd season with the Mystics in Division 1. Playing WEABL as well. Last year she was the 2nd leading scorer in the WEABL for the 2nd leading scorer on the Manchester Mystics in the WEABL with 16.3 points per game. Just behind her sister Ellie, who had 16.4 points per game. And free throw doesn't go. Second is up, and that's short. And I think there was a bit, so she's shooting 3 free throws as it was a 3-shoe shooting, but you get so used to 2 free throws as she gets the roll on the second one that sometimes when someone shot that second one, you still got to stand still and wait for the third. It can throw you off a bit. King. Ball's knocked out of bounds. You see the relentless defense there from Rahana Khalil, not giving an inch of space to anyone. As Jepson looks to get it in. King, she's got space, lines up the 3. Not that time. Chased down there by Lopez, and it's Costa that comes away with it for the Mystics. Obodo to Costa. Back to Obodo. Spence with space. 3's not going to drop, but Nat Furtado goes for the reverse. Doesn't fall in, but into the hands of Costa, and it's Manchester with another chance. As Khalil, shot clock running down, 4 seconds, kicks it out. Spence, catch and shoot 3. Spins out, Khalil's there for the rebound, just mistimed her jump. As Wallace drives all the way to the basket. Gets it back. Roscoe calling for it underneath. You see they're working hard against Nat Furtado. Lopez double teamed, has to pass it out, and a travel is called. Really great defense there from Nat Furtado and Rahana Khalil, pressuring Lopez inside. And as I mentioned, Bristol with a really big height advantage, so Manchester need to take advantage of what they can and what works for them, moving that ball around the outside, using their speed, getting out into transition, but dropping down, doubling the big inside and forcing those turnovers like they just did on that possession. So timeout called, and it's a 13-5 lead for Bristol. Just over 2 minutes to play here in the first quarter. And both teams will be back in action next weekend, playing in the Women's National Cup games. So Manchester will be headed to Liverpool. That will be on the 12th of October. And on the 13th of October, Bristol will be playing Cardiff City. And then the league play will resume the weekend after on the 19th of October. Manchester will be playing Barking Abbey away, and then Bristol playing Brent. And Brent, one of the top teams in the league last season. And there's a lot of excitement around this league. There's been a lot of a few changes, a few new players coming in, players moving teams, switching around, and it's going to be really interesting to see where we are at the end of this season. Ipswich finishing top of the league last year, having had some players moving on, but still looking just as strong as ever, as they were invited to the now the SLB Trophy, and took down the London Lions last weekend. So they're playing Essex right now. But back out on court, it is Manchester ball as Costa swings it to Spence in the corner. Spence gets it back. Short jumper, that's good. Kizzy Spence providing a spark off the bench for the Mystics here. She's got 5 points in the game so far. King against Costa. Wallace. Ball's tapped away. Costa nearly stole it, but it's King. Kicks it out. Roscoe. Shot doesn't go. Coach Rob Fairley on the sideline saying to his team, run, 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 hurry up, hurry up. Furtado stepping through inside. Out to Aboado. Spence, she's got space, let it fly. Doesn't go, but hey, that is a good look for Kizzy Spence as she intercepts it at the other end. Directs her teammates. Aboado striding through the lane, scoops to the basket. And it's a 4-point lead for the Flyers now. Manchester having gone a little bit of a run these last few seconds. Wallace working against Spence. Backs it out. 8 seconds on the shot clock. King. Doesn't go. 13 seconds in the quarter. Manchester can hold for the last shot. Furtado, 1 second, needs to put something up. Does, and that won't go. Good defense there from Bristol to stop the shot. And at the end of the first quarter, it is a Bristol Flyers lead, 13-9, in again a relatively low-scoring first quarter. Not something we expect to see from both teams, but leading the way for Manchester, it is Kizzy Spence off the bench with 5 points and 1 steal. And Irene Aboado dropping in 2 points, grabbing 3 rebounds. And for Bristol, Layla Jepson, 4 points for her, And Sam Roscoe off the bench, 3 points, 2 rebounds. And Kim King with 2 points and 3 rebounds as well. King with an offensive board, so rebounds pretty evenly spread. 13 for the Mystics, 14 for Bristol, and 8 offensive rebounds for Manchester compared to Bristol's 4. But Manchester not been able to capitalise on those offensive rebounds with no second chance points. And they're doing the hard work there. They're getting the rebounds, they're getting the offensive boards, getting the team a second chance, but just not able to get the shot to drop. Shooting 2 of 10 from the field on 2-pointers so far. Bristol 33% from the field, 4 of 12. So some adjustments for both teams to make. It's very, very early on in the season. And you'll see a lot of development. You see it throughout the course of a game. You also see it throughout the months, the weeks of the seasons. The Manchester Mystics team that we saw at the start of last season, very, very different to what we saw out on court towards the end of last season when they were challenging for that 8th place playoff spot. So lots more to come from both these teams, but back out on court, we get ready for the second quarter. And it's a 4-point Bristol lead. And Kizzy Spence still out there. She's been leading the charge for Manchester, so let's see what she's going to bring in the second quarter. Michelle Ortega back out on court for Manchester as well. And Olivia Jokonya into the game for the first time for the Flyers. There's ball. We've got a whistle on the floor. I think we've got some whistles in the crowd as well, along with our three drums. I can count 3 drums. But it sounds like we're getting some noise from the crowd as well, which I think is throwing people off a little bit. So, refs just confirming with the table. But it will be sideline ball for the Flyers. Martin Dotti kicks it out. Ball round the outside. 3 doesn't drop, picked up by Marchizzotti, gets the foul call. That's going to put her at the line. And that's going to be on Idowu, her first for Manchester. So Mara Marchizzotti at the foul line, standing 6'4", coming back to the Flyers this season. A player that's spent time with the Cardiff Met Archers in the WBBL alongside Kim King, and represented Argentina several times throughout her career at the FIBA World Cup in 2018 and the 2019 AmeriCup. Just a really experienced player. And a great player to have out there for the Flyers. So leads back up to 5 for Bristol. Ortega finding some space, comes up against Marchizzotti, who blocks it. I think Marchizzotti with 2 blocks in the game already. Jokonya in the corner, ball's just a bit too strong on that pass. As the Mystics will get the ball back. And Michelle Ortega out there with Rahana Khalil. Ortega, a player that shows great leadership when she's out on the court. I saw her just before the game warming up with the team, going through some of the plays with the younger players, and she's just a really great addition to this Mystics squad. And alongside Rahana Khalil and Remi Idowu, really great players for the younger players in the squad to learn from. As Khalil grabs the ball, steals it away, throws herself on the floor, but somehow still keeps it in the hands of the Mystics. Ortega driving to the basket, and there you go. That's a perfect example of those 2 players doing what they're brought here to do. Rahana forcing the turnover, gets the steal, and Ortega racing to the basket, and that puts Michelle Ortega at the foul line. Ortega with that one made free throw earlier in the game. First one doesn't drop. She had 4 points, 7 rebounds and 2 assists last weekend against the Worcester Wolves. And second one doesn't drop, but Abodo with a great board there, but into the hands of Ball. Marley Ball kicks it out as Wallace stops and pulls up. That doesn't go. Another offensive board for the Flyers. Wallace. Japonia back to Wallace. Three's up. Doesn't drop. Abodo. Out to Ortega. Khalil's three. Off the rim. Ball spins against Ortega, kicks it out. Wallace's three. And Khalil had to let that roll as it was going to be a double dribble call. So we're going to have a timeout called. And still a 14-9 lead for the Flyers. It's been a 1-0 quarter for the Flyers. As I've mentioned, I'm probably going to say this for a while, but this is very low scoring for both of these teams. Manchester scoring 70 last weekend against the Worcester Wolves, the second highest points total of the weekend behind Ipswich. And a team that, as I've said, they like to play fast. They like to get into transition. They get those stops. They've got really young, fast, exciting players like Ellie Costa, Karina Costa, Irene Abodo. Success Odin Wingate is going to race you off the floor. I'd love to see her in the 100 metres. But that's how they like to play. So Bristol doing a very good job countering that, also using their size, their experience as well to stop Manchester getting into those positions where they can get out on the break and play like they usually do. It's very disruptive when you come up against a team like Bristol with so much experience, and they're trying to stop you playing the way you want to. It's very interesting to see as well how they're going to counter that. How is coach Rob Fairley going to counter Darren Oakey's game plan? So we're back out on court. It will be Flyers ball. That's Jepson into Marchizotti. Hands it back to Jepson, all the way to the basket. Gets that to go. That was a really tough move. And it's Ortega controlling it for Manchester. Khalil. Out to Furtado. Costa stepping through. High arcing shot, in and out. Ball pulls up for three and nails it. That's a 10-point lead for Bristol. Marley Ball again, a player with WBBL experience, playing for the Gloucester City Queens, also with Cardiff and Caledonia. Khalil looks to answer for Manchester, it's short. Long pass over to Wallace. King driving baseline, kicks it out, Ball for three, again, back-to-back threes for Marley Ball. And that's what she's gonna do. She's gonna make you pay if you leave her open. Give her an inch of daylight. And intercepts it, working on both ends. Scoring, stealing the ball. Costa looking for some space. Ortega. Costa. Oh, in and out again. That's two 2 times that's happened. That's really unlucky for that just to spin out. As Ball drives baseline, puts up the reverse, gets the whistle, and Marley Ball heading to the foul line. Leading the way for all scorers. She's got 8 points and 4 rebounds and 2 steals. As we'll see Sam Roscoe check back in for Bristol. Hannah Wallace going to head to the bench. And for Manchester, it will be Essie Asante and Faith Lord in for the first time. First free throw doesn't drop for Ball. Second's good. Bristol increased their lead here in the second quarter, approaching the halfway mark. Furtado. Abodo inside, over to Khalil. Khalil catch and shoot. Marchizotti turns and fires. Not that time. And Khalil, that 3 gave her first points of the game. Had 12 last weekend against Worcester. We saw her last season. She can just go off from behind the arc. As Furtado drives to the basket. Doesn't drop, and Roscoe going to wait for the team to catch up with her. King spinning out to Ball. And we've definitely got whistles from around the crowd. So Ball's shot was good. She looked around, looked like she thought there was a whistle for the foul, but it was just basket and play on. So checking it in for Bristol. Taylor Lambert's going to come in. As we've got a timeout again, so a 25-12 lead here for Bristol. 4 minutes 8 to play in the first half. Bristol have been led by Marley Ball, 9 points for her, along with 5 rebounds. And Mara Marchizotti, 3 points, 3 rebounds. And for Manchester, it is Kizzy Spence with those 5 points off the bench when she came in earlier. And Irene Abodo, 2 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists. And Rahana Khalil, 3 points, 3 steals. And Manchester are going to need to get some scoring going here if they're going to catch up to Bristol. Bristol outscoring Manchester 12-3 this quarter. And as we head towards half-time, Manchester don't want to let this lead get too far ahead of them. You want to keep it within 10 or so points. If you can cut it to single digits, that's a good position to work from when you're coming out of half-time. And Abodo can't quite keep it inside, but great hustle there from Irene. Chasing down the ball as Flyers will inbound. And Manchester picking up full court here. King to Marchizotti. And that's going to be an 8-second violation. Great defense there from the Mystics. It's exactly what Coach Rob Fairley will have wanted to see coming out of that timeout. Putting the pressure on. So now that Manchester have got to stop, can they get some points on this possession, cut into this lead? Khalil to Furtado. Tapped out of bounds, ball knocks it out. Ball's just got her fingerprints all over this game, just doing a bit of everything that she needs to do. So Manchester ball from the sideline, and there is 2 seconds on the shot clock, so this really has to be a catch and shoot. You don't really have that much time to shoot, to dribble. So Furtado will put it up and put it in. Nat Furtado throws up a prayer and it goes in. And Nat Furtado is the master of making wild shots like that. Ball looks to answer, that's short. Back into the hands of Ball. 10-point Bristol lead, Marchizotti. King, her 3 goes! And that quietens the Manchester crowd. And that's the problem with this Bristol team. When you come up against them, they have so many outside shooters, along with their twin towers inside, Marchizotti and Roscoe. Khalil to Furtado. Ball's loose inside. And Lord fighting for the jump ball as Ellie Costa and Kizzy Spence subbing back in for Manchester. Nat Furtado and Irene Abodo will head to the bench. Again, it looks like Manchester's going to put on the full court press here. Worked well for them last time, forced that 8-second violation. Can they do the same again? Nope, because it's their ball on offense. As Rahana Khalil adds 2 more points to the Mystics. King into Ball. What a pass that was. Can't finish at the rim, but great court vision there from King. Asante round to Costa. Lines it up, knocks it down. And Manchester have really energised themselves here the last few minutes. After that timeout around the 5-minute mark. 8-point Bristol lead. 2:10 to play. Ball. Not that time. Khalil leading the charge. Asante swings it round to Costa against Roscoe. Spence, corner 3. Roscoe, she's got space. As King loses it on the baseline, and Manchester will get the ball back. And we will have Layla Jepson and Olivia Jokonya in for Bristol. As Success Odemwingie checks in for Essie Asante. And Success Odemwingie, she is super fast out there on court. She can race to the basket, playing for the Mystics in WEABL and under 18s. Just a really exciting player as Costa, high arcing 3, bounces off the rim, but Spence comes away with it as Khalil, her 3 rolls but doesn't go. Lord with the rebound, back to Khalil. So Manchester doing a great job here, offensive rebounding. They're getting a good look at that 3-point shot. They're not going inside as much because, as I mentioned, it's very difficult against 2 6'4" players in Marchizotti and Sam Roscoe, even though Sam Roscoe's not out there. But Manchester swinging the ball around. That 3-point shot has been falling for them. So Khalil, that doesn't drop, but she tries to chase it down. And goes with Bristol, but Manchester getting the chances, just need to get the points off those chances. Manchester still with 0 second chance points to Bristol's 7, but 12 offensive rebounds. So they're doing the hard work, they're getting the ball back, they just need the shot to go through the basket. Odemwingie gets her hands on it, forces Bristol to reset. Just under a minute to play here, 55.5 seconds and an 8-point Bristol lead. And that was an 8-second violation called on that last play. So Odemwingie had poked the ball away. Bristol were about to reset, but the refs call an 8-second violation. So that's 2 shot clock violations the Mystics have forced in the last couple of minutes. Just want to be able to capitalise on it from an offensive standpoint. Odemwingie into Khalil. Spence calling for outside. Costa puts it up. Too strong. And fouls called on the floor as Lord went in for the offensive, went in for the jump ball, but it's a foul on the floor. So it's Bristol ball, 43 seconds in the quarter. Jokonya weaving through traffic. Costa racing down the court. Costa going all the way to the hoop. Gets it to go over the outstretched arm of Marchizzotti. And Khalil steals it. So Mystics with another chance, turns and fires it short. Khalil with her own rebound, tries to put it back in, will get the foul call. And Rahana Khalil just working her socks off on the court today. That's going to give her 2 foul shots with 13.5 seconds to go. And the pressure that Manchester have been putting on in the backcourt, really, really effective, has been working very well for them. As Khalil's first free throw doesn't go. You can see they're just a bit frustrated it's not fallen, but she's an absolutely fantastic shooter. And there you go, it's the second. Lead down to 5 for Bristol, 9 seconds. Jokonya. Jepson, deep 3. Bounces out, Khalil. Ball's loose and no one's going to get it before the end of the quarter. But at the end of the half, it is a 28-23 Bristol Flyers lead over the Manchester Mystics. Manchester having gone on a bit of a run there the last 3-4 minutes of the second quarter, really pulling things back as they went down 14 points and cutting it down to 5, heading into half-time. They're going to be pleased with that. They're not going to be pleased that they've been down earlier on, but cutting into it, doing a really good job. And they've been led by 6 points from Rahana Khalil. She's got 3 rebounds and 3 steals. And alongside her, Kizzy Spence, those 5 points off the bench. But shout out to Irene Aboda with 4 offensive rebounds, along with 2 points. And for the Bristol Academy Flyers, Marley Ball, 11 points for her, 5 rebounds and 2 steals. She's just been fantastic. And a really great new signing for Bristol. And Layla Jepson, 6 points for her and 1 rebound, 1 assist off the bench. So I'm going to take a quick break for half time. I'll be back with you in around 8 minutes time. Welcome back into the Manchester Basketball Centre here in Whalley Range. We're getting ready for the second half between the Manchester Mystics and the Bristol Academy Flyers. Bristol with a 5-point lead, but they were up heavy in the first half, up 14. Manchester were able to pull it back in the last 2 or 3 minutes of the first half. So it's going to be really interesting to see, coming out of halftime into this third quarter, which team comes out the strongest. Manchester using their quickness and their 3-point shooting to try and counter Bristol's inside presence. Mara Marchizotti and Sam Roscoe proving a tough matchup inside against the Manchester team that don't really have anyone around 6 foot. Remi Idowu, probably the tallest player they have out there. Been Marley Ball for the Bristol Academy Flyers, 11 points for her and 5 rebounds, knocking down a couple of threes. And for the Manchester Mystics, 6 points from Rahana Khalil, 3 rebounds and 3 steals, really orchestrating that comeback run towards the end of the first. So teams going back out on court. We're in for an exciting second half of basketball. These Flyers will get things started. King, scoop layup doesn't go. Spence with the rebound. King steals it away, flings it off Khalil's knee, and it will be Bristol ball. So taking care of the ball, it's something that Manchester wants to try and do a little bit better in this half. 7 turnovers in the first compared to 4 for Bristol. As Abodo skies in for the rebound. Passes off to Khalil. Spence. Great pass inside to Khalil. She's doubled, so has to kick it out. Costa's long 3 is up. Khalil chases down the rebound. Another chance for Manchester. Doesn't get it to go. Maloney Danvers passes over to King. Marchizotti inside. Marchizotti backing down Lord. Ball. Not that time. Costa using her speed over to Abodo. Just a bit too strong and out of bounds. So just after saying Manchester needs to take care of the ball, they lose it on that possession, but you can see Manchester playing there fast and furious, racing down the court as we've got a mark on the court, so we need a mop. Someone get the mop, and Rob Fairley's coaching on the sideline, so he can't be cleaning up any leaks today. That's his speciality at the NBPC. King, Maloney Danvers swings it out to Wallace. Wallace finds some space and travel called. So a 5-point deficit for Manchester, yet to score this quarter. Spence over to Abodo. Lord, long 2, no good. Marchizotti, King pulls up and nets it. It's going to take King to 7 points. Costa looking for some space, finds Lord underneath the basket. That one's too strong off the glass. lot of experience out there on the court for Bristol. As King comes up against Khalil. 5 seconds on the shot clock. Marchizotti can't get the roll. Over to Spence. Now she came off the bench in the first half, provided a quick burst of scoring. As Aboido pulls up. Wallace drives out to Maloney Danvers. Wallace gets it back. Marchizotti. King. Foul on the floor. Again, Bristol swinging the ball around really nicely. The ball's going into Marchizotti. You can see Manchester dropping in to double, and then she's kicking it out, and they're getting those looks from the corner, and King, you know she can hit those. So Manchester a chance to cut into this 7-point lead. Spence. Costa's there. Into Khalil. Spence drains it. And again, another big bucket for Kizzy Spence. It's a 4-point game. King spinning inside, off the glass and in. Costa with the crossover, out to Khalil, Aboido, Spence, has Roscoe on her. Short floater, gets the roll, and again, Kizzy Spence with a quick 5 points. She's scoring in bursts, and that's what she does, a really explosive player. Comes off the bench, scores in bunches, as King. That's a big 3 for Kim King. And quietens the Manchester crowd. King and Spence going at it. And whistle on the floor. As Kim King with 12 points, 8 rebounds. Close to a double-double, and we'll see Kizzy Spence check out of the game. And Michelle Ortega back in. But Spence, as I mentioned, doing a great job off the bench, scoring in bursts for the Mystics. Ortega. Lord, out to Khalil, top of the key. Ortega thought about the shot, looking for some space. Costa with a deep 3. And saved in by Marchizotti. Marchizotti inside, rolls off the rim. Anna Khalil grabs a 6th rebound of the game. It's Costa over Marchizotti. Ellie Costa, she's developed that really nice floater over the course of the last season. You'll have seen an 8-second violation, the 3rd of the game that Manchester have forced. Ellie Costa doing a fantastic job defensively. And having added that floater to her game last season, she's a great driver to the basket. She can get to the basket, weaves her way through traffic, and has got a really long wingspan that she uses to do this like scoop layup around the side, but Anne can shoot from behind the arc, so adding in just another aspect to her game is only going to serve her really well throughout her career. Fouls on the floor. Manchester have a chance to take this down to a single possession game. Ortega on the baseline, Khalil, catch and shoot, makes it! And it is a single possession game, 35-32, 4:23 to play in the 3rd. King. an offensive foul call. Rahana Khalil taking the charges. Veronica Iweanya is into the game, and Khalil just putting herself in the way as she does. She's in the way, and as an offensive player, it's very annoying. But as a teammate of hers, you absolutely love to see it. So this is going to give Manchester a chance to tie on this possession. Coming out of the half-time break, really strong as Odom Wingy passes over to Ortega. Costa back to Ortega and hits! Michelle Ortega ties the game at 35 apiece. 4 minutes to play in the third quarter. Manchester back from 14 points down in the first half. Marchizotti Khalil steals it. Costa racing to the hoop, and she's fouled. What a sequence from Manchester. Rahana Khalil, her 4th steal of the game, pressuring the ball. She's doing everything defensively as we've got a timeout called by Bristol. Darren Oakey wants to, I think he wants to ice the kicker before those free throws, as he's seen enough of Manchester going on that run. But what a run it was from Manchester. Rahana Khalil, that leadership out there on court, 8 points for her, 6 rebounds, 3 assists and 4 steals. Had 6 steals in last week's game. She's just, if you were a young player out there watching this game and thinking, I want to be a really good defender, or if you're an old player and want to be a really good defender, watch Rahana Khalil. Watch how she moves on the court and how she spaces herself between her opponent and the ball, and the way she just reads the lane and gets her hands into position. Whether she comes up with the steal or not, she knocks the ball out of bounds, is really disruptive. It's something that forces a team to have to reset. And you know, get back, like they're trying to plan something, you knock the ball out of bounds, you've got to reset, figure out what you were doing. So it's disruptive and can throw you off a little bit. Rahana Khalil does that so well. So it will be Costa at the line, Ellie Costa at the line. She had 8 points, a rebound and an assist in last weekend's game against Worcester. Free throw spins out, shooting 50% from the line last weekend. Chance here to take the lead for the Mystics. And she does! Big bucket, Ellie Costa. 1 point Manchester lead. Ball. Odom Wingy's on her. And foul on the floor. That's going to be on Lord. That's her 3rd. Oh, apologies, 6. It was on Costa. It was on Ellie Costa. That's her 3rd. First team foul for the Mystics this quarter. Iweanya hands it off to Jepson. Jepson against Khalil. Khalil nearly steals it away, knocks the ball loose. It's back into the hands of Ball. Ball puts up the 3, grazes the front of the rim. And the Mystics get the ball back. What a turning point it's been here in the 3rd quarter. Ortega. She hit the 3 to tie just a few seconds ago. Costa finds her way inside, gets the basket to fall, and is going to go back to the free throw line. She is big bucket Ellie Costa. She just did it before, she's done it again. And that's a really tough move, and you see there her using her length, using that long reach she has to get to the basket, get round her opponent, gets the roll on that shot, and back to the foul line she goes. 10 points for her in today's game. Make it 11. And that is the biggest lead of the game for the Mystics, a 4-point lead. Bristol looking to answer here. Wallace driving, knocked out by Odom Wingy, and you see this relentless defence here from Manchester. If they're not coming up with a steal, they're going to knock the ball out of bounds. Putting the pressure on as Sam Roscoe checks back into the game, and might this stop the Mystics' momentum? Roscoe over to Ball stepping through, runs into two Mystics, and a foul on the Flyers, and that's just tough defence from Manchester, standing in the way. Taking a leaf out of, taking a page out of Rahana Khalil's book. She's like, I'm going to stand in the way, everyone. You all need to also stand in the way and be annoying on defence. And that puts Michelle Ortega back at the foul line. Ortega 4 points and an offensive board. Free throw's good. Now, I shouldn't say this before she shoots the second free throw. Manchester have done a much better job shooting from the foul line here in the second half on this end of the basket. And thankfully that one went in. Takes the Manchester lead up to 6. But that's what you like to see from teams. You can see what didn't work well in the first half for Manchester, the free throws, taking care of the ball. And they've been able to counter it and fix that in the second as Ball drives to the basket. She gets the foul call, stepping through 3 Mystics players. Has Marley Ball at the foul line, and Ball, she's got 11 points for the Flyers, 6 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals. That first shot doesn't fall. Playing out in Portugal last season, making the move over to Bristol. Second one's good, and she's going to be a player to watch in Division 1 this season. And an 18-8 run for Manchester this quarter, and a carry called on that possession. So Flyers ball. King. King looking to step inside. Shot doesn't go. And jump ball is called. Roscoe and Odom Wingy fighting for it, but it will be with Manchester. As we got a quick substitution, Faith Lord heads to the bench, and Remy Idowu back in for Manchester. Faith with 4 rebounds as Ortega brings it up for the Mystics. Idowu has Roscoe on her. Odom Wingy to the hoop, draws the contact, and Success heading to the foul line. And Success, Odom Wingy, not scored in this game, but 2 rebounds and an assist. And again, one of those players that makes her presence known defensively. She doesn't have to fill up the score sheet to make an impact on the game. She can if she wants to, as she hits the first free throw. But a really hard-working player. She'll work just as hard off the ball as she will on the ball. Moves so quickly and just so fast when she's out there on the court. Second one doesn't go, but Khalil pulls it down. This is looking like a very different Mystics team to the one we saw in the first half, as Costa again to the basket. Ellie Costa, 13 points for her. And it's an 8-point Manchester lead as Costa is called for the foul at the other end, blocking foul. I think she was trying to take a charge, but that foul, I believe that will be 4 on Ellie Costa. So she's going to have to sit because having been a really crucial part of this turnaround for the Mystics, you don't want her to get into, you don't want her to pick up that 5th foul and not be able to play. So she's going to have to take a seat, maybe till sometime midway in the 4th, alongside Rahana Khalil. And in their places comes in Karina Costa and Nat Furtado. Roscoe turns and shoots. Another board for the Mystics. Chance to increase this to double figures. Furtado. Ortega. Costa. Back to Odemwingie. 7 seconds on the shot clock. Furtado floater. King, catch and shoot. Off the rim, chased down by Ortega, one of the smaller players on the court, grabs the rebound, races against Wallace, passes into Odemwingie, who hits the deck, ball's out but still in the hands of Manchester. And I think Odemwingie may have taken a hit. So just going to check that she's okay. Just working really hard underneath the basket. I think she may have just got caught as she, there was a bit of a scrum for the ball inside. As Coach Rob Fairley's just coming onto court, check she's okay. But success. Success with those. Success with a really good impact on the game. A couple of rebounds for her, just as I said before, making an impact that you don't always see on the stat sheet. 7 seconds on the clock. Furtado round to Aboado. Furtado gets it back, Ortega. Loses it, Wallace for Bristol. Roscoe running, catches inside, swarmed by the Mystics. As the drums are getting louder in here. Supporting Manchester, Roscoe's 3, bounces out. Oh, what a pass there, back to Roscoe and finishes, ball, saves it in. Roscoe running the lane with the layup, what a fantastic play there from those two. As Costa turns, spins, hook shot, falls in at the buzzer. And just 2 brilliant plays from both teams there to end the 3rd quarter. And a 38-46 lead for Manchester. So an 8-point lead for the Mystics. They have really swung things here in the 3rd quarter. Trailing as they went into halftime, down 14 earlier in the game, and have swung it with a 21-10 3rd quarter behind the inspired play of Rahana Khalil and Ellie Costa. Costa coming up with 13 points, 2 rebounds and a couple of steals. And Rahana Khalil, 8 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists and 4 steals. As Kizzy Spence off the bench with 10 points. And for the Bristol Academy Flyers, it's been Marley Ball and Kim King, 12 points each. King also adding in 8 rebounds, 3 steals and a couple of assists. And Marley Ball, 7 rebounds and 2 steals. Manchester have really been able to use their outside shooting and that quickness. Costa driving to the hoop because the points in the paint, so 14 for Manchester and just 12 for Bristol. Manchester shooting 30% from the field to Bristol's 30%. It's just been the volume from Manchester, knocking down 6 threes. Bristol also hitting 6 threes. And 6 of 10 from the line for Bristol, 8 of 16 for Manchester. Manchester able to collect 16 points from turnovers, Bristol just 5. So 1 more quarter to play. Can the Mystics keep this up? And Spence back out on court there to start the 4th. She's been playing in short bursts, which suits her game perfectly. She's a really explosive, fast, quick player. Comes out, gets you some baskets, goes to the bench, comes off the bench, gets some baskets, and repeats. And it works. It works very well, and it has done so far this game. Roscoe doubled inside, works her way round. And a rebound for Spence. Costa out to Abodo, round to Spence. Spence, layup is good! It's what she's been doing all game long. She said, Kaz, I heard you. I heard what you said. I'm going to show you. As Roscoe, pass inside, fouls drawn. And that cutting move that Sam Roscoe is doing as she's driving straight through the lane, straight down past the free throw line into the lane. Her teammates know just where to find her. She catches that, either puts up the layup, or just like that, she draws the foul. And the first shot is short. Second doesn't drop, tipped, but into the hands of Furtado, so it's Mystics' ball as Costa again races down the court. Karina emulating Ellie, doesn't get that to fall that time, but it's a 10-point Manchester lead here in the fourth. Jepson into Roscoe. Roscoe left-hand layup off the glass. And again, that's been working for Bristol. Even doubled. Roscoe has the height advantage. She has the experience. And she can use that to her advantage. The ball's knocked out of bounds. Mystics to inbound here with Abodo. Furtado over to Spence. Swings it back to Furtado. Shot's too strong. Abodo chases it down. Ball's going to stay with Manchester. 5 seconds on the shot clock as Rahana Khalil checks in for Furtado. So Khalil will inbound. Look for her to get the ball back after she's inbounded. Or not, get it to Abodo, who's going to go to the foul line. Irene Abodo, a quieter scoring game by her standards, but doing everything else that she needs to do. 6 rebounds and 2 assists. A chance here to increase this Manchester lead back up to double figures. As Irene Abodo named Player of the Week in the WEABL last week. Playing for the Manchester Mystics, had 19 points, 9 rebounds and 7 steals. It's a pretty standard Irene Abodo stat line, that is. And goes 2 of 2 from the line, and as I mentioned before, just a really exciting young player. Was out with the GB under-16 squad this summer as King skips it over to Jepson. Jepson's 3 bounces out. Wallace skies in for the rebound. And Ball's 3 won't drop. Another offensive board though for Bristol as Roscoe working against Idowu. And Wallace lines it up. No joy on that. And we've got a jump ball call as every single time the Mystics see the ball, they're just diving in there, really taking Rahana Khalil's lead. And that's the real importance of veteran players like Khalil on the team. You know, she leads by example. If you see your teammate just going after the ball, just throwing herself around in a productive way, you're going to want to do the same and help your team out. Spence, Abodo against Wallace. Costa. Back to Khalil. Khalil, long 2. No good. King to Jepson in the corner. Spins, nice move. And again, you'll see there just Khalil in the way, essentially. She stands there, stands her ground. forces the shot to have to be taken over at an awkward angle. Really good not to use doesn't shove her hands out, doesn't cause the foul, just stands in the way, being annoying on defense. If people think of you as an annoying defender, that's a great compliment, I always think. So 10-point Mystics lead, 7:25 to play here in the fourth quarter. Aboado stepping through. Idowu's shot won't fall. Taps out, somehow saved, and gets back into the hands of Spence. Khalil, with a second to go, needs to put something up, and that's going to be a shot clock violation. Just not quite what the Mystics would have wanted on that possession, but a substitution as Jepson heads to the bench for Bristol, and Estella Maloney-Danvers back in. Khalil flings it over to Spence. Spence racing down the court, goes against King, steps through, and that will be a foul. Kizzy Spence heading to the line, taking contact on that possession. And you see there the speed that Spence plays with. It's going to put her at the with a chance to increase the lead up to 12 here with the Manchester Giants in the WBBL last season. Cross town to the Mystics, hits the first free throw, and second one bounces out. So that's 13 points for Spence and 3 rebounds. Had 6 points last weekend when they played Worcester, so increasing that, working hard in this game. Aboado runs into traffic. Her shot doesn't go. The ball hands it over to King. King into Roscoe. Roscoe against Idowu. Fade away, doesn't fall. Aboado in the corner. Mystics in control here in the fourth quarter. 6 minutes to go. Costa, 3 rolls out. Ball in and out. Mystics can take their time here. 6 minutes, still a lot of time to play in basketball. As Spence draws the foul on the floor, but Manchester with a real that third quarter swing, a 23-10 point quarter, and outscoring Bristol 5-2 at the moment in this quarter after just 4.5 minutes. As timeout is called, Darren Oakey for Bristol wants to speak to his players and see how they can try and counter this Manchester run. So leading the way for Manchester it is Kizzy Spence with 13 points and Ellie Costa with 13 points. Now Ellie Costa with those 4 fouls, so she's had to sit on the bench since late on in the third quarter. We might see her come on in the next minute or so, but Manchester have been able to withstand Bristol's pressure at the moment with her on the bench, which is a really great sign when you're able to not kind of drop back when you lose one of your starters out there. Some really impressive talent on the bench for Manchester. They might not have the height, but they've got the heart. I think Rob Fairley will enjoy that. So coming back out on court, it's an 11-point Manchester lead. Bristol led by those 12 points from Kim King and Marley Ball. Sam Roscoe off the bench with 7 points and 3 rebounds. As Khalil prepares to inbound. Aboado. Blocked. Marchizotti under the basket. Marchizotti makes it really difficult, you can see there, for players to get a shot off. Idowu turns and shoots and doesn't get it to go. Khalil grabs the ball at the rim. Out, going to go back with Bristol. So if you're Bristol, you might want to look at what was working for you in the first half. So it's that pass in there to Marchizotti, turns, fires, ball spins out, but that was what we saw in the first half, that Roscoe Marchizotti inside, then kicking it out. If the ball's going in and they're getting doubled, tripled, kicking out to King or Ball, who's got that outside shot. There's Khalil, her three short. Hopefully that's working for everyone, and you can hear the game. As we have 4 minutes left in the fourth quarter, and it's an 11-point Manchester lead. King hits a three, and that's a big bucket. As Spence passes to Khalil, back to Spence. Spence with the short runner. Gets it back, and it's intercepted by Wallace. Shot doesn't fall, fighting for the rebound. And substitution, Layla Jepson's gonna check in. Flyers ball. Aboado steals it, chases it down coast to coast, drops it in. Irina Aboado, perfect defense, reading the pass, races out and gets the basket at the end. King, Ortega comes up with it. Manchester's defense really pressuring the Flyers here. Hands it off to Aboado, gets the bucket and the foul. And Manchester really racing out in control here in the fourth quarter. (55-43), and a timeout called. Manchester have really swung things around. Down 14 in the first half, coming out flying in the second. And they have a 12-point lead with just under 3 minutes left. I think we're having some issues with the scoreboard at the moment, so we will get that sorted for you. is a 55-43 Manchester lead, a 12-point lead, 2:51 to play here in the fourth quarter. And Irene Abodo at the foul line after that big basket. Just continues to impress every time she's out there on court as the free throw flies off the rim. And Bristol, if they're going to make a run, they need to start it now. Wallace. Layup short. Khalil grabs the rebound. King steals it back for Bristol. Jepson's three is good, nothing but net. And Bristol are making the run that they need to. Aboado out to Khalil. Manchester don't need to rush anything here. Time's on their side. Just take care of the ball as Costa loses that one. Jepson says, yeah, just slow things down, team. King, three, rolls out. Marchizotti pulls it down. Fouls on the floor. And this is a very experienced Bristol Flyers team against a Manchester team who, whilst they have that veteran experience out there in Khalil, Idowu and Furtado, a lot of young players. So it's going to be interesting here to see if they can keep their composure, keep this lead when you're in a position where, you know, you're in control, you've got time, you just need to withstand the other team coming at you and trying to break into this 9-point deficit. And we saw a few times last season where perhaps the Mystics might go ahead late in the game and weren't able to keep a hold of that lead, and that's something that you learn from playing throughout the game. And some of these younger players will be now more familiar with being in those kind of situations. So it can be really interesting now in this last 1 minute, 59 seconds to see if they're able to do that. I think Coach Rob Fairley will think that's pretty interesting too. So teams coming back out on court. Now 9 points in basketball in 2 minutes. It's been done. It's been done. It's not insurmountable at all. And Bristol players out there like Kim King, Marley Ball, they can just knock down three. So a couple of those, and you've got yourself a very, very close game. So Jepson has it blocked by Khalil, who jumped out of the gym to knock that one away. So again, that forces Bristol to reset. Just a disruptive hands from Khalil. King into Marchizotti. She's fouled on the floor. I'm not sure whether, judging Miranda, Khalil's face, not sure whether that was intentional to try and stop the clock or, but it was a foul. So both teams currently on 4 team fouls, and that puts Irene Abodo also on her 4th foul. So her and Ellie Costa both out on court with 4 fouls. And I think that was a 3-second violation inside. Just missed what the ref called there. But it's Manchester ball and into the hands of Khalil, who gets it over to Ellie Costa. And Costa will just step out of bounds from the pressure there that King and Jepson put on. Abodo steals the ball, puts it in the basket. Irene Abodo, 2 big steals and finishes, and Khalil intercepts it. Ortega will go to the line, and the Mystics defense stealing the ball all over the place. 12 steals in the game before those two, so 14 for them compared to 9 for the Flyers, but they've really been able to turn this around, really capitalize on those turnovers, getting points from them. 21 points from turnovers for the Mystics, as Ortega at the line can't get that one to drop. but second one does. Ball draws the foul, and that's going to put Ball at the line. And that is foul number 5 on Irina Bodo, so she's going to have to check out. And in her place is Success Odemwingie. Ball hits the first. And second, 2 of 2 from the line, brings it back to a 10-point game. 90 seconds to play. Ortega to Khalil. Back to Ortega. Ball's out, last touch Bristol, so stays with the Mystics. Odemwingie to Khalil. Khalil dribbles it out around the outside, using the clock well. 6 seconds. Khalil stepping through. Over to Odemwingie, 2 seconds. Needs to put something up. Ortega as the clock expires, and that will be a violation. So Bristol needs to get some quick points here. Marchizotti back to Ball. Jepson drives to the hoop, and an offensive foul called. Odemwingie taking the charge for the Mystics. And Manchester looking in control here, up 10 with 50 seconds left. A real turnaround for them. Just a completely different team we're seeing in the second half to the first. Their defense has been absolutely tenacious, just been non-stop, and Rahana Khalil leading by example all game long as she smiles and will inbound the ball from the sideline. There's a lot to be excited about if you're a fan of this Manchester team. Also a fan of this Bristol team. There's a lot to be excited about in this league. As Ortega looks to break free, she's doubled, gets it into the hands of Costa. Costa, and foul on the floor, but that will still be foul shots as both teams on 5 team fouls. And Ellie Costa, first shot doesn't fall. 13 points for her, 2 rebounds, 2 assists and 2 steals. Hit some big shots when it mattered. Free throw takes the Mystics up to 59. Five seconds left in the quarter. Marchizotti kicks it out. Wallace's 3 hits. An 8-point deficit, 17 seconds. Costa. Mystics have time here. They can just hold the ball. Khalil to Costa. 8 seconds, 7 seconds. Costa forced back over the halfway line. And oh no, that's a foul call. That looked like it was going to be a backcourt violation, so a foul call. And that's foul number 5 on King for the Flyers. So King's going to take a seat. Ellie Costa's going to go to the foul line, looking for a chance to increase her point total. Having shot 2 of 4 from the foul line today, 50%. As the first one bounces off the back of the iron. Seconds, good. 14 points for Ellie Costa. And with 3 seconds left in the game, ball launches it, spins out, and that will do it. A come from behind win for the Manchester Mystics, 60-51 over the Bristol Academy Flyers, down 14 points in the first half. A real turnaround. Had 1 point with around 5 minutes left in the first quarter and have just come out firing after half-time. I don't know what Coach Rob Bailey said to them, but Rahana Khalil really leading that charge in the third quarter. 8 points for her, along with 12 rebounds, 6 assists, and a huge 6 steals in the game. Ellie Costa, 14 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, and 2 steals. Irina Bodo with a double-double, 10 points, 11 rebounds, 2 assists, and 2 steals. And off the bench, Kizzy Spence bringing that spark, 13 points for her, along with 4 rebounds. And for the Bristol Academy Flyers, it was Kim King, 15 points, 9 rebounds, 3 assists, and 4 steals. And Marley Ball, 14 points, 10 rebounds, a double-double for her, 3 assists. And Sam Roscoe adding in 7 points, 3 rebounds off the bench, alongside Layla Jepson, who had 9 points, a rebound, and 2 assists. A massive congratulations to Manchester and Bristol. They'll be looking to bounce back next weekend in the Cup as they take on Cardiff City, and then back against Brent Bulls in the league the weekend after on the 19th of October. For Manchester, they'll be facing Liverpool in the Cup away next weekend, and then Barking Abbey on the 19th of October. So a big win for this young Manchester Mystics squad after a year's experience in Division 1. They're going to be really pleased with how they turn things around, and that's a great start to their season as they move to 2-0 in the standings. So the final score, Manchester Mystics 60, Bristol Academy Flyers 51. I'm Caroline Bullock. Thank you for joining me. We'll be back next time right here on the Manchester Mystics and Magic YouTube channel.